Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you know the morally superior, wonderful liberal Democrats are actually very likely morally bankrupt. So, the biggest news story on Trump today is he wore his pants backwards. Oh my God, this is amazing. He wore his pants backwards. Okay. He didn't wear his pants backwards. And you can look at the photos. It really doesn't matter. Did Donald Trump wear his pants backwards? Crisscross memes have already begun. Trump successfully wore pants correctly at rally reports. Okay. Trump memes, jokes flood internet amid speculation he wore his pants backwards during North Carolina speech. Newsweek. Now you have to take this within a certain amount of context. Spate of anti-Semitic anti-Semitism in U.S. calls for more forceful response. Washington Post. U.S. inflation soars in April to 13-year high, CPI shows, and reveals fresh stress on the economy. Market Watch, March 12th. Then you have April's expected hiring boom goes bust as nonfarm payroll gain falls well short of estimates. May 7th. And, of course, you have the horrible phenomenon of anti-Asian crimes up in Biden's America. I just gave you, 4 stories? Okay, then there's overall crime. The U.S. saw significant crime rise across major cities, and it's not letting up. Actually, it's increasing. Violent crime is rising in America's cities. This is The Economist, putting criminal justice reform at risk. What should be done about it? June 5th, 2021 edition. You have crime rates soaring throughout the U.S., especially in major cities in Biden's America. Our beloved President Biden. Oh, he likes to eat vanilla ice cream, and he wears cool sunglasses. He's a good man. He's a decent man, except if you ask Tara Reid and 13 other people, but especially Tara Reid. But Democrats only view allegations against Trump as credible because they're absolute hypocrites. But anyway, crime rates have been soaring throughout the country in Biden's America. You have anti-Semitism and anti-Asian crimes up throughout the country in Biden's America. You have inflation up to a 13-year high in our beloved President Biden's America. What a return to normalcy and decency. And what else? You have, obviously, geopolitical concerns that we didn't have during President Trump. Oh, and the topic that AOC used to care about but now doesn't, where Yad Vashem had to explain to her and basically politely inform her that her revisionist, distorted history is an absolute travesty, asking her to learn more about the subject. But the same facilities that AOC and Bernie Sanders and others once cared about are holding, according to CBS Market Watch, 16 times more people than their capacity. This is just one example. This didn't happen during President Trump's administration. It wasn't perfect. I was against certain situations or certain policies, one policy in particular, but he stopped that in 2018. And Democrats didn't care. They didn't care because under President Obama, there was a Senate report that actually talked about, revealed worse. Much worse, unfortunately. That's why, President Obama removed more people from this country than any president ever, including Trump. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel below. You have inflation, 13-year high. We have inflationary concerns. The jobs report a couple months back was horrendous. I think it's a tiny bit better this time around. but still you have unemployment that is at record highs in many Democratic-run states. You have violent crime that's soaring throughout the country. Like I said, anti-Asian and anti-Semitic crime. How is Biden's America better than Trump's America? You have to be a complete imbecile if you blame Trump for the pandemic. Democratic-run states have the worst outcomes. What did Trump do? What did you expect Trump to do? I want to know what people say. Well, he botched the pandemic. Well, what did you want him to do? In late January, he started taking steps. In the beginning of March, Andrew Cuomo said the risk remains low for the people of New York, and New York became the epicenter of all of it. The numbers vindicate President Trump and Rand Paul, and also falsies emails as well. So before that happened, and Democrats were blindsided because they tried to kick Trump out of office. See, they say that Trump downplayed the pandemic as if they would have listened to him. As if they were just waiting for some leadership from him because they cared so much about his opinion. They would have instinctively done the opposite, which they basically did in the very beginning. And everything was politicized to blame one man. And it was like, if you looked at, like, Andrew Cuomo is a case study in mass delusion. This politician wrote a book on leadership lessons during the pandemic. And he presided over the absolute worst outcomes on the entire planet. He, AOC, Schumer, Gillibrand, de Blasio. I don't know how. I know how. New York politicians got away with everything they did, including Cuomo putting infected people in elderly care facilities because they were Democrats. Democrats have a morality fetish. They only care about feeling morally superior, not actually being, in many cases, moral. If they were truly moral and just, then if, let's say, Clinton had servers with top secret intel on them, James Comey wouldn't go to bat and protect Madam Secretary. They're going after Trump simply because they want retribution. They want to knock him out of 2024. It ain't going to work. But the biggest story now is whether he and this is like the sophomoric mind of the average left-leaning voter and liberal in many cases. They are so infatuated and obsessed with Trump. They think he's this monster. I do think President Trump needs to tone down some of his words and rhetoric and statements, but it's interesting how he drives them completely mad. It is interesting. And it shows you how they just run on public relations. Because now there's no indignation about the border. There's no indignation about the economy. Michigan was actually dealing with the pandemic up until very recently. With a lot in a worse way than most other states. And of course, you have Whitmer, Democratic-run states had the worst outcomes. Highest per capita rates, according to the New York Times, greatest number of lives lost. So they keep on saying that they took it seriously and they really looked at the science and the data, and it's like everything they did didn't work out. The opposite took place. More people suffered and lost their lives under their watch. And Trump basically let all the governors pretty much decide how they were going to handle this horrendous crisis last year. And so you look, ladies and gentlemen, and they're focused on whether Trump wore his pants backwards. Could you imagine if there was a fashion concern with Madam Secretary or Kamala Harris or any Democratic female? Oh my God, the indignation would be heard throughout the galaxy. Oh my God, this is horrible. Oh my God, look at this, look at that. Oh, the endless banter would be like just the moaning and the whining and the complaining. Oh my God. But it's Trump, so anything goes. Totally fine. Because he's the bully. He's the one who used his intelligence agencies to go after an incoming president. Oh, that was President Obama. They say President Obama is a good human being, good man. He destroyed Libya. Trump did not. Trump removed Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. They're focused on his sartorial choices while the country is going to you-know-where in a handbasket. Pretty much tells you about the Democratic Party and wonderful, morally superior liberals. Give me your thoughts. Hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel.